And okay, we're going to continue our interviews. We're going to be joined now by an upstate Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, representing Schenectady and areas around Schenectady.
Yes, great.
Yeah,
thanks. It's great to be on the show here.
Yeah, great. Thanks for coming by again. And I was talking to you last night, and you mentioned to me, and it was really loud in the room, and I didn't get to hear exactly what it was. But there's a program that was going on that you wanted to turn me on to. So I was wondering if you could just remind me. It was like Schenectady's Ready type thing or something like that.
Oh, there's the Schenectady group being honored. Caucus Weekend 2015 here. It's called SAFE is the group.
Gotcha,
so
that's right.
They're from my district, from Schenectady area, and I'm very want to say congratulations to them. So we'll be at the awards ceremony to congratulate them personally.
And what do they do?
They're a community-based group, and they do a lot of things for the community, and we're happy to recognize them here.
And I think for some of the people from downstate, they might not realize Schenectady is a very diverse community. You represent a growing city in many ways. Also, there was problems with crime in Schenectady a long time ago. You deal with a lot of the similar problems that other cities across the state deal with. What does an event like this do for like your constituents and help you give maybe inform your perspective on how better to handle with some of these problems that your community face?
I think this is a great time for everybody to come together. The Assembly is an exciting time in New York City Assembly.
Yeah.
Things are changing. We're seeing a lot of things being done differently. We have a new speaker who's committed to doing things a little bit differently. And I think that we're seeing people come together here, diverse group of people, a lot of younger new members with great ideas on how to solve problems with education, which has been a problem in my district and across the state for underfunded communities, poverty levels, working on summer youth programs. And Schenectady County has a great summer youth program, makes such a difference, and coming together, and there's actually been a lot of people, a lot of colleagues, a lot of people here from my district that have attended this event, and it's great to see them coming here to share and to contribute and to be a part of the celebration.
That's great. We were talking to one of your colleagues, Bernice Bichot, earlier, just a couple minutes ago, and she seemed to say there's a lot of optimism amongst younger members in the Assembly Conference. Are you feeling the same way? Do you feel that there's more opportunity for you to be in leadership positions, possibly get budget items through?
Yeah, and those are the reforms that we talked about when we were looking for a new speaker, and we talked to Carl Heastie on several occasions, and we have his commitment that not only we're going to see reforms that address outside income, things like addressing new members' interests. We have a lot of new members in the Assembly. I think the number was 46% of the conference is now 4 years or less. So collectively we have a pretty good voice as we stand together on calling for these reforms, and I think Carl's going to stand right there with us. He's taking on the outside income issue right from day one. He's looking at getting new members involved in leading legislation, and I think issues like the mixed martial arts bill.
Yeah.
It's very important to upstate New York for the economy. I think that would mean a lot for economic dollars. These are things that we haven't seen that move in the past, and I think we're going to have a great opportunity to move those forward. And again, younger members are going to have more of a voice, I think, and I think you're going to see things done a little bit differently.
Interesting.
The conference, it just coincided everything that happened and with the Caucus Weekend and also Black History Month. From your perspective, and from those outside the community that are feeling rightfully so proud for the historical significance of Carl Heastie ascending a kid from the Bronx, an African American, a person of color, just all the different things, all the things that you wanted to just attach to whatever that means right now. How do you see, and how do you think your colleagues that are not Latino or Black or Asian even, how do you see, do you look at Carl as with the same way that, I'm sure you applaud the significance of having the first African American, but do you look at Carl in what way? What the experience he brings, do you take that into account, the fact that he's the first African American person there?
There's definitely historical significance. I think it's just an exciting time that we have a new speaker. We have a person that's I see as a really accessible person, that's a real person that can I find myself texting back and forth to him on my cell phone on several occasions. He gets back to me almost immediately.
You're actually the
These-
second person to mention that to us.
And you know, I
And a
like
young person,
I
too.
like that he's embracing the technology. I see him in the hallways. We'll have conversations. I saw him just last night. We chatted a little bit. So I see him as he wants to be accessible. He wants to unite everybody. He wants to be on the same page. He wants to address everybody's needs. The other thing, one of those things he told me before he was even elected as Speaker is he committed to making sure upstate New York was going to be part of the conversation. He was going to make sure he did an upstate tour. He was going to find out what the issues are, not just in his area that he represents, but across the entire state. That really means a lot to my constituents, to everybody that I represent. That was a really, really significant thing for me.
Well, I got to tell you, I was stunned when I heard him out of his mouth. He admitted to the fact that he really didn't know the rest of the state, and he did that. And I said, "Oh my God!" He said, "Well, I've traveled the limited." No, he came out and said, "I don't know the rest of the state. I'm gonna have to learn about it." So you're saying that already he committed to you. So I think it's good that this is a person who already knows because he's been, around here for a little while, but he's also open up to the fact that he needs to learn more about the rest of the state.
I think that there's a lot of issues that he knew that he had to address. Keeping the upstate economy going, making sure that's a top priority is important for the entire state, and I think he knows that. I think he knows that the reforms are needed, so he took those on. He's taking those on. He's making these things happen. He knows that younger members is a growing number of younger members with 4 years or less, and you're going to see that continue to grow. There's been a lot of change, and I think he knows that keeping those members directly involved with decisions here in New York State Assembly is very important. He's embraced all of these items and packaged them all up into what his message is going to be for the Assembly.
How about one more question, Michael?
Go ahead.
What would next year, Caucus Weekend, let's fast forward, what will be the telling sign for you that Carl Heastie, as Speaker, has learned about the rest of the state and particularly your area?
I think that it goes back to him being accessible. When I have questions, when I'm looking to have a conversation with him, it happens very quickly. Whether it's via a phone call, a conversation, or a meeting, it's almost the response is there. He wants to hear what the concerns are, and he wants to address what those needs are, and as quickly as possible.
But what I'm asking is, what is the one accomplishment that you could say?
I think he will visit my district. I think he will visit with my local officials. We will tour upstate New York. He knows where Schenectady is. He knows what Schenectady is at this point, and we've talked about Schenectady.
But he hasn't been to Schenectady.
He hasn't been there, but he's mentioned it several times. I've seen him speak, and that Schenectady has been part of the conversation. That's a city where I grew up, and to hear him say that, it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. I think he's going to commit. He's going to fulfill his commitment of touring upstate New York. We're going to have him in the district. We're gonna be happy to have him there and to show him around and show him what upstate New York is all about.
Interesting. We asked one of your colleagues this earlier. Just in general, do you feel like that the Speaker Heastie has your support going forward, kind of forever? Because the sense was that he was the consensus pick to come in and keep things like on the not necessarily status quo, but keep things stable so that you could pursue this legislative session and get a lot out of this legislative session. And my thought when that said is like, well, was he just the best pick for right now, or is he someone that you think you guys will have confidence in and trust in and be able to support going forward, even if he can't deliver maybe as well as Speaker Silver has in the past in this first year?
I think he has our trust, and he has said in the conference on several occasions he wants to represent what the conference wants. When he goes into these budget negotiations, he wants to be in a strong position, and he's going to be because he is taking the time to understand what we want in this budget. He knows that he has our support. He's going to be a strong voice in these budget negotiations. He's going to deliver for things like education. He's had conversations with all the members. He's received correspondence, and when he goes into the budget negotiations, he knows what's important for our one house budget. And he knows what he's going to deliver for our assembly districts.
What's a measuring stick?
I think
is it Shelley Silver? What Shelley Silver did?
I think if we see increased education funding, if we see things like broadband dollars come into the upstate district, that's something that that there's a lot of money going to be put into that. I think that if we see those type of 21st century improvements come to rural districts, I have a lot of farmers in my district. If we see that technology, if we see those improvements, we have a casino coming in Schenectady.
Yep.
Hopefully in 2 years we'll have them tour that casino. So Schenectady at this point has seen a lot of attention in upstate New York has seen a lot of attention. I think if we continue to see that attention from our speaker, I think that the upstate New York and all of New York is going to really greatly benefit from his leadership.
Assemblyman Angelo Santabarbara, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy
Thank
Caucus
you.
Weekend.
It's been great to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.